Well, I'll just say my name is Alex Primm. I'm working for Missouri State University and the Library Special Collections. And I'm here today on 8th of June, 2015. And we're working on the Route 66 oral history project. And this will be edited down if they need it to use it for anything in particular. But, you know, we know there'll be people coming and going. So John, could you introduce yourself and say the date, year you were born?
I was born in December 8th, 1957. My name is John Schweke, and this is Greystone Heights Motor Courts on Route 66 in Springfield, Missouri.
Were you born in Springfield, John?
I was born in Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of the few kids that went to Kickapoo Grade School, Kickapoo Junior High, and Kickapoo High School.
Wow. Now, the Kickapoo High School has moved, hasn't it?
No. Cherokee was South Kickapoo,
Okay.
and Walt Disney was North Kickapoo.
Oh.
And then they built the high school.
Oh, I see. So, did they get rid of the Kickapoo Middle School?
Yeah, that was Cherokee now.
Okay, I see.
Cherokee Middle School.
Wow. Do you think that had something to do with your interest in history, the Indian tribe name of all your schools?
No, not necessarily. I have interest in history because I own this property out here, and I really enjoy what it looks like and what it's looking like more and more every year.
That's great. I'm going to ask you a few things about your background and your family history.
I've only been arrested once.
Great. Well, we're not going to grill you.
And you're gonna cut that out too.
Oh yeah, this is for the television show.
Yeah.
How did your family come to the Springfield area? What do you know about the early days of your ancestors in Greene County?
My grandfather lived in Springfield on Walnut Street, and he, during the Depression, made a lot of money buying and selling businesses, and then buying them and reselling them as a profit. And he lived in Springfield because his wife lived in St. Louis, and he wanted to get away from her. And my father graduated from college and got out of the Marines and moved to Springfield to be close to his father, who passed away shortly thereafter that he moved to Springfield.
Uh-huh.
And my father immediately, upon graduating college, became the vice president of W.M. Arwood's soft goods company. So immediately he was a vice president, which that was pretty cool because my grandfather owned 49% of it.
Wow.
And so he sold Hanes underwear and Red Ball tennis shoes and toughed up blue jeans to little stores in southwest Missouri.
So he represented that company, the soft goods company, as a traveling salesman as well as being an executive.
He was more of a traveling salesman because Mr. Arwood took care of the business part of it. But my father was good at that, and he opened up a soft goods store in Barnes, where Barnes Furniture Store is now. It was Barnes Grocery Store then. And he had a little room this size that he sold his soft goods in, and he opened up a dime store, in Sparta, Missouri, and then Ava, Missouri, then Houston, Missouri.
Wow.
And he started this in 1959, R&S Floral.
Uh-huh.
And he bought this property in 1963. He moved out here and started making flower arrangements for Memorial Day and for Christmas, and then would make them in this building here, then put them in a truck and take them to the warehouse and store them in the warehouse.
Now, R&S, could I ask what that stands for?
My brother says Russ and Sons, but it's for Russel Schweke.
Oh, okay. And that was your father?
Yes.
And what business did he get into after doing the floral arrangements? Did he?
He stayed has R&S Floral until he passed away.
So that became his main interest,
Yes.
his main business. It must have been a good business.
Must have been. I'm still here and doing it.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about the business? I know it's busy around Memorial Day. What else do you do besides?
We have 10 people that work year-round to make flower arrangements for Memorial Day. And starting in February, we start setting stores up from Russell, Arkansas to Clinton, Missouri, and Rolla, Missouri to Pittsburgh, Kansas. And then we open them up about the 1st of April until the middle of April. And then retail Memorial Day decorations. We only make flower arrangements for one holiday.
Wow. You don't do Christmas, you don't do Halloween?
Very little.
Uh-huh. Because there's still, people are interested in memorializing their family members who have passed away. They're used?
Well, that, and I have had Christmas stores, but with, not as much success as Memorial Day decoration stores.
That's really great. So you must know a lot of people in these towns in that area you mentioned, people who have come year after year.
Well, customers not so much, but my managers and the people that run the towns, I try to.
That's really interesting. Because there's a business somewhat like that with fireworks in the Ozarks.
It's just like a fireworks business.
It's just a one-time thing.
Except for the fireworks, people don't make their fireworks here in America like we do. They're brought in from China. They resell them.
Yeah, and the flower arrangements are not going to explode.
No.
It's a little safer business. How did your father identify this property? Was it a tourist court?
It was. He read it. What I understand, he read a notice in the newspaper that said it was to be sold on the courthouse stairs. So he went to the courthouse and bought it. He paid $5,000 for this property in 1963.
And how many acres are here, roughly?
2 1/4.
And your sign out front says there was a family named Brewer who established the business. Do you know anything about that family?
The Margaret Brewer owned the business and the property. And that was very unusual at that time because her husband did not, most of the time the husbands were the owners of the property and the wives were the secondary people. And he did not own the property, he did build the buildings, and Margaret and Ben got divorced. They got separated, and then they got divorced, and then he said he was going to come back and marry her again if he would do his husbandly duties, he could come back and be married. That didn't last very long, and they got divorced. And their families fought over the property for a long time after that, as far as who owned it.
Did you ever meet Mrs. Brewer?
No, I've never met anybody that's ever owned the property.
She must have been a strong-willed lady.
She must have been a pistol, yeah.
To run this business, and it'd be very interesting. So your father opened it for the arrangements, and he was using the cabins as storage for arrangements.
Yes.
So he ran the business pretty much as you run it now.
He just had wholesale customers. See, I have retail customers, so he would sell to all the Ben Franklin's, all the dime stores, and then when they closed up because of Walmart, his business died, so he had to figure out another way to do it. So then he started up with a pop-up store, which is a seasonal store.
Oh, that's very interesting. So the small dime store community soft goods business just aren't there anymore
because Walmart, everybody goes to Walmart or Dollar General now.
Wow. But they come to R&S for their arrangements.
Because R&S makes really pretty arrangements.
Oh, so that's why you stand out. You don't get them from China or Japan.
My arrangements do not look like what they sell at Walmart or Dollar General. My arrangements are a upscale, nicer Memorial.
Oh, that's great.
We'll go see soon.
Yeah.
When we're done with this, we'll go see.
Okay. Well, you've shown us around the property a lot. What did you first start doing when you inherited the property? Am I saying the right thing? Did you inherit it, or did you buy it from your family, from siblings?
No, I had an agreement with my father that if I made very little money and worked for him, that I could own the property when he died. So after every year, and he got getting older and older, I said, "Pop, it's time for me to own the property." And he said, "No, you own it because I'm not going to die yet." And so one day I had a friend that's a probate attorney, and I said, "Let's go visit my friend." And so we sat down there, and my friend said, "Well, I hope Russ doesn't, won't be offended because I got beard here and hair to here, And so we sat down and said, "Russ, I hope you don't care what I look like." My father said, "Al, I don't care what you look like." He goes, "I want John to have the property when I die." And Al looked at him and said, "Russ, I've seen a lot of strange things happen when people die. If you want John to have the property, why don't you just give it to him right now?" He goes, "Okay." So he got the papers rolling, and he signed the property to me, and then he retired, and immediately then we got it into R&S Memorial Decorations, which was my businesses.
Right. And when was that you took over?
2007.
So it's only been 8 years now that you owned it.
8 years I actually owned it, yes.
Right. Is the business steadily going up, or is it pretty much the same every year?
No, since 2007 we've had about a 25% increase in businesses.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Probably more.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What do you enjoy about doing the business?
I'll tell you what I don't like is bookwork.
Yeah.
Truly, the honest thing I like the most is seeing the people happy when they get something that reminds them of their grandmother, their uncle, their daughter, whatever. Because there are people that buy memorial decorations are very emotional about it in most cases.
Hmm. Let me change course a little bit now and ask you a little bit more about the history of this place. Your business is really interesting, but this is not about the business, it's more about this property. A lot of people would have said, let's bulldoze those old cabins and put up a big tin building. Why have you preserved the old cabins?
I think it's neat. I think it's neat, and they're not going to make these again. Like they're not going to make more cabins on Table Rock Lake. They're not going to do a lot of things because this is very few. There are very few of these, more and more. And I hate going down the road seeing the property on Route 66 being dilapidated.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you saw the Cars movie.
I did.
What struck you about that story?
My grandson was sitting before me, and the moral of the story was that the Route 66 had these wonderful businesses and properties, and now they're all becoming dilapidated. And I looked at him, put my arm around him, and said, "You know, Kalen, I have a dilapidated property like that on Route 66 too." And then I just woke up the next day and said, "You know, we can fix this," and we have.
Wow, that is really touching. So it's partly your grandson and partly yourself wanting to maybe pass something on.
And to preserve it.
Preserve it.
It is very important, in my opinion and my wife's opinion, to preserve this property and to try to get it to where you just go look at it and go, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. What makes it cool? Why? What is it about seeing an old building that makes you go, wow?
I don't know. What is it? You know, 8 years ago, I handed black paintbrush to my oldest man worker. I said, "Larry, I want you to start painting in between the rocks. It's called draft striping." And he came in there. He looked at me. He goes, "Well, I don't want to do that. What do I want to do that for?" And so he started painting. About 20 minutes later, he came back and said, "Boss, can I start work about 30 minutes early tomorrow? It's getting hot, and that looks really neat out there." Because we were not have the draft striping out there 7 years ago. We've painted it, and that makes the rocks stand out. And it just looks really neat. And the rocks from this buildings were all collected from the property here that used to build it.
So you put the grout line is black paint.
Yeah.
And did you paint the rocks white?
No, they were already white. They're limestone.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And they have been red. They've been red in the past, but they're black now.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's great. And do you get many comments from neighbors, passers-by about this property?
They have noticed how much it has looked and it's improved looks. Yeah, they've noticed a lot how it looks a lot better. I mean, it used to look really scary.
It looked like it's about to fall over and fall in. And
Yeah. And I was pretty embarrassed about it. Like I said, I'm very proud of the way it looks right now.
that's really great. Oh, you decided to spend some money on a neon sign. It says Modern Cabins. Could you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
My wife and I joined the Route 66 Association of Missouri 3 years ago. And they came to me and they said, "Hey, you've got a sign on that property. We can give you money to, get it restored for the National Park Service." And I said, "What do I need to do?" And they told me, I said, "I don't want to, if I could cheat, I'd fill out the papers and cheated, but I couldn't fill out all the papers and didn't want to pay somebody to do it." I said, "If I want to restore the sign, I'll just get it done myself." And so over the course of next year and a half with some research, we got the sign restored and fixed and relit. We had a relighting ceremony for the sign September 13th, 2014, and there was close to 600 people here for that.
And that's when it became an official Greene County Historical
That's the
Society.
same day it became Greene County Historic Landmark, yes.
How does that make you feel, being an official historic site?
I think that's pretty neat too.
It is.
There's a lot of places up and down this road that are, and there's a lot more that could be, and it's not that hard to do.
Mm-hmm. But it gives people a sense that something happened here over a period of time. Do you have siblings? I didn't ask you about that as growing up.
I have one brother and one sister.
Are they involved in the business at all?
No.
What kind of business did your brother get in?
My brother was a truck driver, and my sister screen prints T-shirts.
Oh, so that's a little bit like some of your dad's.
Like when my dad started, yes.
That's really neat. Who did your brother work for, or does he still work?
No, he's on disability.
Oh, uh-huh.
He fell off a truck.
Oh, gee. So this is a little safer line of work, too.
Well, I haven't fell off a truck yet.
Yeah. Did he work for Snorton Norton?
No, I don't know who he worked for.
Uh-huh. He's probably worked
He
for...
worked for Chemtech, the longest he worked for somebody, which...
Uh-huh. Where's your sister's business?
Rogersville, Missouri, Young Sportswear.
Oh, okay. What do your siblings think about this, what you've done here?
Ask another question. Well,
Okay.
They think it's all right, but I mean, they're not.
Uh-huh.
You know, what I did out here is like Memorial Day decorating. I mean, you either like it a lot or you're not into it that much. And my brother likes to take his kid and go mud running every weekend, and you know.
Yeah, you'd rather go fishing or do something. Everyone's got their own hobbies and interests. And was there something in your childhood that sort of got you interested in history? In local history? Is there something about Springfield and Route 66 that you liked?
You know, really not too much. I mean, I was always good at history, but I mean, there was really, I was horrible in school. I mean, if I couldn't cheat or skip, it wasn't any fun. I just graduated because they said if you done graduating, he's going to come back next year.
So you did enough to get through, and but was there some event in school or afterwards that you sort of got interested in Greene County and the Ozarks?
Not really until I joined the Route 66 Association of Missouri. But there's one thing that I was always good at business. When I went to Kickapoo High School, that was the first 4 years they started. They had no money whatsoever. And they said, well, we need a fundraiser, what can we do? And I raised my hand, and because I'd worked at a carnival in the summertime with my father, I said, let's have Hell Night. Or let's have a carnival here. So they named it Hell Night, and so I had to make 5 or 6 different rides or this, that, and other, and to collect money to start raising money for student council. And I invented the first couple of bumper stickers for Kickapoo High School to sell as a moneymaker.
And what did those say?
Kickapoo High School.
Oh, they didn't say Hell Night?
No. No, I don't think they called it Hell Night until after I graduated.
Oh.
And they don't do it anymore because of insurance or...
Right. It's not politically correct to encourage people to do things they shouldn't, maybe.
Well, no, but that's, I mean, we had like a kissing tent. We had somewhere I had the security officer stick his head in a poncho. For 50 cents, you got to throw a sponge and hit him in the head, I mean, we raised money like that. And there was nobody else that thought of stuff like that. I was just a dumb little freshman. I said, let's do this.
That's really great. That's neat. When I talked with you a few minutes ago on the phone, you mentioned you had one story involving your business here that usually evokes a laugh from people.
This lady came to me, a customer, said, Sonny, I want you to know I spent my honeymoon night here. I said, really? I go, ma'am, what was it like? She goes, well, for dinner, for 25 cents, we got 2 Dr. Peppers and 2 Hershey bars. I said, really? She goes, for 25 more cents, we got to listen to the radio. I said, well, ma'am, were there people here? What was it like? Can you tell me anything about it? She goes, Sonny, it was my honeymoon. I don't know. I was dizzy.
Do they have a chivalry?
I don't know. That's all she told me. She was dizzy. Now, why she'd be dizzy on her honeymoon, I don't know.
Well, she might have had some moonshine.
She might have.
Has she been back? Is she a neighbor?
Not that she has told me. But we get a lot of customers out here during the season, and sometimes I'm on the phone and I try to say hello to everybody, but...
Have you heard any other honeymoon stories?
I've heard of a couple, but nothing like that where she didn't know what was going on because she was dizzy. There's been a lot of people from Springfield would spend their honeymoons out here because this was way out in the country then, and you could pull your car in the motor courts and shut the door and nobody knew that you were here.
Could you explain that a little bit? Because there's not many of those left, I think, in the area.
A motor court, which this property was, had the garage in the middle. And you pull your car in there and you could shut the doors, and then the rooms were on each side.
So you could enter your motel room from the garage?
From the garage. or from the front door.
So no one would really know you're there.
Right, and it's the same way with the Boots motor courts in Carthage. You pull in underneath a garage type thing, and the rooms are on each side of the little tunnels.
And that's a Route 66 era.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that one.
Well, it's cool. They don't have TVs in their room. All you have is the radio.
Oh, that's good. So they're trying to do the historic thing.
Yeah.
What kind of questions do you get from people or comments from people coming by or neighbors?
They ask about the sign. I had a person today ask if he could rent cabins down here because he wanted to spend the night. Basically the comments I get how nice the property looks now compared to 10 years ago.
Wow, that really is kind of
10 years ago there was plywood floors on here and we had to watch walking through here because you could fall through the floor. I didn't have hot water. Had a phone about 15 years ago.
Do you live nearby?
I do not.
But you're here on and off all week long. You know what's going on.
I am.
That's really great. When I came here for the lighting ceremony and the festival you had last fall, I met one lady who had a story. She said her farm had been on the Underground Railroad. Her husband had one of the antique cars. Have you ever heard of any stories like that, the Underground Railroad? Or?
Not in Springfield, but I know what the Underground Railroad is.
So, as far as you know, there's not much of an African American history out here.
As far as I know, there's not.
How about other, say, ethnic groups? Were there French or German people who settled in particular neighborhoods around here, particular small communities that may not exist anymore?
4 miles from here is a town called Bodark, which is a French word for orange wood, I believe. So I'm sure there had to be a lot of French people live up there.
Right. But mainly it's just good old Ozark folks who live.
Good old Ozark folks, just like me.
That's great. Well, I think it's impressive that you are saving something. That Ozarks has a reputation of people moving around a lot and not caring about taking care of things.
Thank you.
And you definitely are taking care of it.
Trying to get it took care of.
Yeah. Well, what I'd heard is the Scotch-Irish people, who a lot of the original Ozarkers were, they were herdsmen. They had cattle, and they would follow their herds around. They'd wear out pastures and whatnot, and they'd build log buildings that would break down after a decade or two. And they wouldn't build foundations. The Germans further north, they were more crop raisers, so they were interested in improving their real estate because they could be there generation after generation.
I'm German.
You're German, so maybe that's part of it. That you value things that are taken care of and are going to increase in value.
Because if you don't take care of them, they're not going to increase in value.
Yeah. Well, it looks like, just looking at this room, the beautiful pine boards, were the cabins well built by the original
The cabins
Brewers?
were so well built that the walls were still standing very structurally sound, yeah.
Right. Well, I think I have asked a lot of questions here. We've talked a little bit about minority history, and there really isn't much of it. Talked a little bit about what you know about the original owners. David, could I ask if you've got anything you thought of that we might ask John?
Do you have any future plans for the property in terms of expanding it or adding anything to it? Or?
I do, but it's a secret.
Okay.
No, I'd like to build onto my warehouse, and I'll show you that when we walk through there. But I would like to get rid of the trailers that are down here and put a storage facility down there so the trailers didn't look so junky.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, John.
Thank you, guys.